Hello, I am Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the Becoming the Best You talk show. I'm Isabel Black, and today's episode, we have Brenda Ringwood interviewing Ruben West. Ruben West is just an ordinary fella from Topeka, Kansas, but he is doing extraordinary things in the world. He has come today with a lot of golden nuggets, so get your popcorn, get your favorite drink, and get you a notebook because you'll want to take notes.
Hi, it's Brent. I'm coming to you with another BTBY TV show. And I have to brag a little bit because this man right here is so special to me. I don't even think you know how special you are. This is Dr. Ruben West. And I know people have referred to him in several of our conferences. This is the man. This is the one everybody talks about. So when I was at a really low point in my life, and he had an event in Kansas City, and he gave me a free ticket. I had no money. I couldn't afford this ticket. And he gave me this free ticket. He said he wanted to give back to the community. And I had just been out of prison like a year. And you gave me back my self-esteem because you said that it didn't matter, that if I was moving forward the right way, that I could do anything I wanted to do. Exactly. And he took the time out in this busy, and I do conferences. So this busy conference, he took the time out and he set me down. We went to a room and we talked for about 15 minutes and he took that time out. Do you remember all that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I remember.
And then he had this class and he allowed me to take this class. He allowed me to stretch the payments out. And he just really was a turning point for me and what we're doing now.
You know, the reason I remember is because it brought credibility to the statement I always make, which is there's a difference between what you do and who you are. And when we were in that room talking, and I never knew you were in prison and stuff. You said you were in prison. I was like, oh, she's so funny.
Yeah, I was.
And then you're telling me, and I was like, yeah. And it seemed rather incongruent to the person that I saw you as. And what we have to realize is that life is a journey.
It is.
And two things, no one gets out of it alive.
It's a promise.
And if you find a way, let me know because I want to try that. And the other thing is no one has a mistake-free life. And what the mistake a lot of people make is they think they have one and then they judge other people for not having one.
That's right.
You did this, right? But we've all done something. But for the grace of God, there go I. And thank goodness they can't see. See, a lot of us make mistakes, and just because it's not publicized, it's not public, they still act like they have never made one. Now they have.
Of course they have.
But they act like, and so, me being of the faith that I am, I know the only thing worse than sin is iniquity. Because iniquity is sin you can't see.
That's right.
Right. And so if I stole your money, you would know I stole your money. But sins like jealousy, envy, lust, those are sins that you can't see.
Right.
And so, there's a story in the Bible where they want to condemn this woman. And they said, she did this, she did that. And they said, we should stone her. And they said, what should we do? And they said, he who was without sin cast the first stone. But the real word was iniquity.
Right.
And what they're really saying is, if you haven't thought about being with her, just because we don't know it, like if you haven't thought about it, then say something. They're like, oh yeah, put the stone back.
Exactly.
Right?
Because you're right. It's something that we don't see, but if you've already thought about it, just like the Bible also says, if you've looked at that other man or other woman, you've already, in a lustful way.
Exactly, you already done it.
Yes.
And so the mistake we make is we judge people whose mistakes were seen, knowing that we have some that could have been seen and some that are unseen.
Right.
And so I don't have the authority to judge you.
And you didn't.
No, I don't have the authority, but I do have a mandate. And
Mhm.
my mandate is love you.
Right.
And so people always ask me, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? What about gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, whatever it is? I have one mandate,
Mhm.
love them.
That's all you can do.
I'm not God. God
Mhm.
could judge me. And let me ask you this, and this probably is not even the topic of our
Yeah,
show,
this is
but
okay.
let
It's
me
what this
tell
is
you,
about.
do you have children?
I do. I have 4.
Okay, I have 3. And one of the things I know is that if I give my children instructions, clean your room, be
Mhm.
home by this time, put this stuff away, I always go back and check to make sure they did what I said. Did you do that?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Of course.
Sometimes I made them come back and redo it.
Yeah, of course, of course. And then based on the ability to do what you said, you give them more responsibility. If you come home late, maybe you can't stay out next time, maybe you can't use the car. But as you do what I've asked you to do, then I give you more responsibility. I give you more trust. Makes sense?
Mhm.
So now it is incongruent for a parent to give a child an instruction that they're never going to verify that they completed. Because once the child knows that you're not checking or that you're not going to follow up, then that gives them liberty to make even bigger mistakes
Right.
or go off on their own, right?
That
So
you're not
now-
going to see it. He's
So
not gonna
now
see
let's
it.
bring
Yeah.
this all home. Why would God give us an instruction to love our neighbor as ourselves if he was never going to create different neighbors?
Oh, that's good.
Because if the neighbor was just like me, thought like me, same religion as me, same race as me, same sexuality, same everything as me, would it be hard for me to love them? Like, hey, Ruben, I love
Yeah,
you, right?
exactly, 'cause
That's
you're
the
me.
easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
But maybe God in his infinite wisdom said, I'm going to expose some things. I'm going to expose people who pretend like they follow my instruction by making some people a little bit different.
Mhm.
I'm going to give them a burden, a cross to bear. But what I'm really using it for is just to test the people who say they follow me.
Oh, man.
And so maybe when we meet these people that say they're different, maybe it's not that they're different, that we're being tested. How are we going to treat these individuals? So when I met you, I didn't have to think about all that. I've contemplated that long and hard, and I realized I'm no different than anyone. I'm no better than anyone. And I've made some mistakes. As a matter of fact, no, I can't tell you that. I ain't gonna bring that back up. Some things are better stay left in the
Left in the
past, right?
past, yes.
But my point is, I've already made up in my mind that it's not my job to judge. And usually we come to a fork in the road, and anybody listening, I want you to think about this fork in the road where you can go left or you can go right, you can go up, or you can go down, you can go high or low. But you can be a light or a judge, but you can't be both at the
No,
same
you
time.
can't. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I tell people that my past and my mistakes has created who I am today because I chose to make better decisions and I chose to change. I chose to not be that person anymore.
Yeah.
So if you truly want that change, it's a decision and you can do it.
You
if
can,
you want
absolutely
to.
can.
So the purpose of the show is to give people the encouragement to become the best version of themselves and to overcome those challenges. So tell us a little bit about who you are, where
Sure.
you started and where you are now.
Yeah. My name is Ruben West. I started in Topeka, Kansas. I have a shirt that says I am Topeka.
Mhm.
I have a pin for the Topeka flag. And when most people look at Topeka, they're unimpressed.
I was
They're
thinking it when
not
I drove
moved.
through.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you drove down to come to
Mhm.
Topeka, and I appreciate you coming. I drove from Bloomington, Illinois to
did.
get here. And oftentimes I look back and I'll say, I'm Ruben from Topeka. And the only reason I'm saying it is because I'm truly amazed of where I'm at. As a matter of fact, I just got an invitation to the Democratic Republic of Congo to going through the process of submitting the paperwork to meet with the president. They want the first lady to receive my award. I have an award named after
That's
my
just
name
wonderful. Yeah.
by I Change Nations, which is the largest culture of honor in the world. It's the Ruben M. West Voice of Change Award. And so I got a chance to go to Burundi, Africa, met with the president, met with the first lady. She received my award at the United Nations in New York. I went to Guyana, met with the vice president. He received my award there in Guyana. I mean, I'm Ruben from Topeka. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that is because it never matters where we're at. God can take us to places exceedingly abundantly above anything we can ask or imagine if we're willing to allow him to do it. Not because we're perfect. Yeah, that's why I got to keep saying, I'm not perfect.
You're from Topeka.
I'm from Topeka. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing people are going to hold against me.
Mhm.
But my point is that I get this opportunity to do these amazing things. And I just started out right here in Topeka. And now here's the thing, Brenda. People give information and people can give education, but I believe God gives true elevation.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
People can give information and education, but God gives elevation, true elevation. And so what I know is regardless of any mistake I've ever made, he still, for somewhat reason, chose to elevate me. Now, here's what we have to realize, not only me, you, but and everyone listening. In Topeka, Kansas, they put an Indian on the top of the Capitol building
They sure did.
with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, I had to drive all the way from Illinois because when they told me about it, I said, I've got to see this. There's an Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed towards the sky. And I came, and here's what they said. They said, when they put that Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky, people came and watched. They came and observed. And
They
some
wanna see
people
what's
said,
going on.
that's amazing. They put an Indian up there.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, this is our heritage. This is Kansas. So the counties are named after Indian tribes.
That's right.
We have Osawatomie County, Potawatomi County, Osage County, Olathe County. This is Shawnee County. And so that Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky is a tribute to the heritage of this state.
It is. It's
And
a
then
wonderful
on
tribute.
the other side, somebody said, can you believe they put an Indian on the top of the Capitol building with a bow and arrow pointed toward the sky? I mean, with all the money we need for roads and schools and all these other things, they wasted money putting an Indian with a bow and arrow on the top of a Capitol building pointed toward the sky. And
It's
so
always somebody.
it's always somebody. And the reason I'm telling you, if you're listening, there's a lesson in that. When you become the top, you become the topic and you become the target.
That's right.
And so don't make the mistake of thinking that when I say I get a chance to go speak to these world leaders, that some people out there are thinking, who does he think he is? How dare he think he's from Topeka, Kansas? You are right. You can give me information, you can give me education, but God gave me the elevation.
That is
And so I'm
wonderful.
amazed that I get a chance to do the things that I'm doing where I'm at, even though I'm from Topeka, Kansas.
There's nothing wrong with being from Topeka, Kansas. It is the capital of this great state of Kansas.
Indeed it
Yes,
is.
it is. Got to see the good in everything.
Yeah, indeed. So I've gotten a chance to really transcend who I ever thought I could be.
And you didn't always do what you're doing now. You
No,
own
not at
several
all.
companies.
Absolutely.
You were a nurse.
Yeah.
Tell us about your
Sure.
everyday life back.
So watch this.
before.
I went to Highland Park High School here in Topeka, Kansas. I was in the military. I was in the reserves.
Oh, I did know that.
And
I forgot
I
about
started that when I was in high school. I went to
Mhm.
basic training during the summer of my junior, senior year, then came back. They paid me to wear my uniform to school
Yeah.
in high school. And then I went to my on-the-job training, which was 91 Delta and operating room tech.
that. Wow.
So we would pass instruments to the doctors, either knife,
Mhm.
scalpel, we would do that. And I worked at the local hospital here. In 1991, we got activated to go to the Gulf War. It was when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. And so we're in the Gulf War, and one of the surgeons said, Ruben, I'm going to teach you how to assist. Because it's not 9 to 5 at war. It's until the patients stop coming.
Yeah.
And it's set up so that in one operating room, you can have a table on this side and a table on that side. So in mass casualty situations, you can be working on this patient, the doctor breaks scrubs, changes gown and gloves, turns, and now he's over here, and you're moving this patient out, stabilizing, coming in.
Wow.
So he said he's going to teach me to do some stuff. And I said, man, that's great.
Mhm.
And so he showed me a few things, a few knots and blah, blah, blah. And I remember that night sitting on my cot thinking, when I get back to Topeka, Kansas, I want to start a profession where I could just assist surgeons,
Mhm.
where he or she could call me and say, I got a cranial aneurysm and an open heart bypass or whatever it is, and I can go into the system. And so when I got back, I went back to my hospital that I got activated, where I was at when I got activated. And I told my boss, Miss G, Deanna Gooden, and she's like, are you crazy?
And it wasn't thought of. People
No,
were
no,
telling
no.
you,
She's
that's
like,
not gonna
no.
work.
Well,
Yeah.
she's like, no, Ruben, you can't do that. If you want to assist in surgery, you have to go be a nurse practitioner, a PA, or another doctor. And that's very logical. That's very
Mhm.
practical. That's very applicable. But it wasn't the idea I was
Right.
given. Brenda, I believe, and this is to the listeners too, I believe that our ideas are our inheritance.
Mhm.
See, when God wants to bless you, he gives you an idea. T.D. Jakes said, we think in trees, but God blesses us in seeds. And so what
Yes, he
happens
does.
is he gives us this idea, and there's, watch this, if you know how to do it and you know how to work it out and you have it all laid out, that's a good idea. But a God idea, you don't know.
That's right.
See, he wouldn't tell us that we would have to walk by faith if he wasn't going to make us do it. I told you, parents don't give instructions that they're not going to test. And so when he said, you got to walk by faith, not by sight, well, yeah, I got this audacious idea. How am I going to do it? I don't know. People would ask, well, how are you going to do that? I don't know. Why would you ask me? I've never done it before.
Right. It's still a
Right.
work in process.
And watch this. That's why people get stuck. Because the change that they want to make, they've never done before, and they think that they have to have the answer before they do it. So here's quick, right to it. How do you do something that you've never done before? Here's what you do. First thing I got to do, stop worrying about the last step and just focus on the next step. What is the very next step I can take? It might be studying, it might be praying, it might be working on yourself, but every day you're asking yourself, what is the very next step? And then the reason most people don't take steps is because, like, when I got this idea, I said, well, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I don't know. And so most people say, I'll take action when I get the resources. But God says, I'll give you the resources when you take action. And so the reason most people never get the action for the stuff, the resources for the actions that they should have taken is because they didn't take any action. But there's something a mile down the road. If you've ever needed gas and you were driving and looked around and there's no gas station, you don't stop.
No, you keep going.
You keep going. And
Yes.
then when you get down the road, you find the station. And what most people do is they stop. Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to just sit here. Okay. That's called running out of gas. And now you're in a completely different
Now
situation.
you're begging for help.
Exactly. So I just took action, and it took us about 10 years, but we wrote the scope of practice, the job description, the college curriculum, the textbook. And we were able to implement that program right here in the state of Kansas. I did have to leave my hospital that I started at and go to Wichita, Kansas, where they allowed us to do it. And I don't blame them. You know why? Because remember, I told you, I started in surgery when I was 18.
Very young.
And so what I can tell you is that the Gulf War changed me. But it didn't matter if I had changed. When I came back, they still saw that crazy Ruben that would go around the OR doing crazy stuff. They're like, you want to do what? Start a profession? Get out of here.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was never, and all I'm telling some people listening right now is sometimes people know you as who you used to be. And so sometimes there's people that you just have to let go. You have to walk away from. There's some bridges that we've burned that we can never repair. Not that we didn't try, but they're never going to allow us to tell them to repair them. And what do? Okay, you just do your part and leave. It's okay. And I knew that at Stormont Vale Regional Medical Center in Topeka, Kansas, they were never going to let me, like, they couldn't take me that serious. Like this, I could tell you some stuff, but I'm not going to. My point was,
They probably were kicking themselves later.
and a lot of people are.
Yes.
And that's the key, is sometimes I went to Kenya, and when I was in Kenya, I started this organization called Civility for Kenya. And I'm audacious enough to think that they've had violence after their previous elections, and I'm audacious enough to think that I can help them prevent post-election violence in the election that's coming up in August. And so when I told people, and they saw me on TV, and they saw me on the news, and they saw me in the newspaper, and they see my civility campaign, civility books, and they're like, how are you how did this happen? Like, who helped you put all this stuff together? I said, well, I just came. They said, no.
You showed up.
Yeah, but they were like, no, but somebody had to bring it. No, nobody invited me. Nobody brought me. I just came and I just started. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so let me help somebody who's out there thinking, I want to help you with this. Think about it this way. And I told them this in Kenya. I said, did you know in the US, we have movie theaters? And they said, we have movie theaters. I said, yeah, but ours, they have 3D movies.
Right.
I said, Dr. West, we have 3D movies. I said, no, but ours, you put on these glasses, and it's usually like a red lens and a blue lens, or red and green. And when you put on these glasses, like, the things come to life. It comes off the screen. And they're like, Dr. West, we have 3D movies. We wear the glasses. I said, yeah, but if you're sitting right next to me and you don't have on the glasses, it just looks blurry to you. It's confusing. It gives you a headache. But with me with the glasses, it looks like it's alive. I'm in it. I'm a part of it.
Yes.
And they said, Dr. West, how many times do I have to tell you, we have
We have
that?
it, yeah.
I said, right. And I have 3D faith glasses.
Mm.
So when I put on these glasses and I say I'm gonna start a profession, start a martial arts school, come change the country, go talk to a world leader, you don't have on these glasses. So you're looking there, sitting there looking like, this dude is crazy. What is he seeing? What is he going for? What is he talking about? And it's not because I'm crazy. It would be the same way we're watching the same movie in 3D, but you
Right.
don't have glasses that allow you to see the 3 dimensions. So for you, it's like blurry, it's confusing, it's giving you a headache. And for me, I'm seeing it crystal clear. As we said, I'm a part of it.
Right.
And so what I've been able to do with the level of faith that I have is to not just get an idea, but be a part of the idea as I walk it out. And it's changed my life.
Very much so.
Like it's changed my life. And what I had to let go of is the old Ruben.
Mhm.
Did you know I used to have a heart murmur?
No.
I had a heart murmur and every other year I had to go to KU Medical Center. And when I was a kid, and they would check me. They'd say, deep breath on the
Mhm.
side, in the back, hold. And then they say, yeah, no, we can hear it. And I would go every year. And Brenda, I loved this heart murmur. I love heart murmur Ruben. You know why? Because I have a brother that's 11 months older than me. And so he had my parents first. He was there first. He was first at
So
everything.
you got attention.
But when I went to KU Medical Center, it was during the week and he was at school or at my grandparents'. And I'd be in the back of the car with my arms folded out, nobody in the back seat. And it's just me, my mom, my
Just
dad, and
you.
me. And I loved it.
Mhm.
And so one of the things he said was, the last time I went, he said, it's gotten a lot worse and we're gonna have to do open heart surgery. Oh, my mom broke down. She
I bet.
immediately started crying. And they said, we'll bring him back, but it looks like we're gonna have to do open heart surgery. And we got in the car and we were driving back and it was solemn. We went downstairs. We always have these go to eat while we're there. And so I would always get these stuffed green peppers.
Mm.
And so we were driving back and I heard my parents talking, and what they would do is they would talk in pig Latin. So I wouldn't
Thinking you
understand.
wouldn't understand, yeah, but you did.
And so I remember being at home and I asked my mom, I said, Mom, I wanted this toy. And she said, what toy? And I said, it's the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. And she said, for what? It's not your birthday. It's not Christmas. Like, why would I get you this toy? Why would I get you a G.I. What'd you call it? I said, it's a G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip. She said, why would I get that?
Wow.
And I said, I hope I'm alive to get it.
You were playing on
Guess
that.
what I got?
You
A
got that
G.I.
toy.
Joe with a Kung Fu grip. So when I tell you I love the heart murmur, it gave me benefits.
It did.
It gave me benefits. One day we're at church. My mother's associate pastor. I have 4 uncles that are bishops. My grandfather was a pastor. We're at church on Friday night. I'm sitting in the back and there was a guest minister and she's up talking and she says, there's somebody in here with a heart condition and God wants to heal you. And I was thinking, I know she is not talking to me.
But she was.
And so my mom said, hey, I said, Mom, no, she's not talking to me. Because I wasn't thinking about the benefit of being healed. I was thinking
you were
about the
gonna lose.
privileges I was going to lose for losing my heart
Right,
murmur.
right.
This got me a G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip. And so I was like, no, I know she's not talking to me. And so my mom's like, Ruben, let's go up there. I said, Mom, I don't want to go up there. And then she went from that mom to get up here. And so
Oh,
I
yeah.
got up
The
and I
mama
went
voice
up
came
there
out.
and I went up there and he's like, you have this thing. I was like, yeah. And I was crying and I was crying for a completely different reason. They thought I was convicted by the Holy Spirit. And I think I'm gonna lose everything I got in heaven, have to share my parents again. And so the lady prayed for me and she said all this stuff. And then she said, by his stripes you are. And everybody said healed. And I remember thinking, and so there was no way for me to discern if it was healed or not, because I didn't have a stethoscope.
Mhm.
And so at the follow-up meeting, we're driving to Kansas City and I'm just saying to God, if you didn't take it away, I'm okay. I mean,
Right.
we're friends here. And
Mhm.
if for any reason you felt like I messed up or I don't deserve it, I'm good with it, right? And so we get there and KU is a teaching hospital. So the student doctors come in and they put on the stethoscope, deep breath,
Mhm.
on the side, in the back, hold your breath.
Hold your breath.
And they're like, I don't hear anything. With a heart murmur, you hear it because it's a separate hole in the wall from the ventricle. Blah, blah, blah. But I was like, what does he know? So the
There's no way to
female
feel.
student doctor did it
Mhm.
and she couldn't hear it. The third student doctor did it and she couldn't hear it. Now my saving grace was they're just students.
Mhm.
So then the
They know
main
what
doctor
they're
came
doing.
in and he was an older gentleman and he talked to my mom and he told her, remember we talked and if this is this and and they said, what'd you find? And they're asking him, they said, well, we couldn't hear it. We couldn't. And he said, what? Because it had gotten so bad that it was going to need open heart surgery.
Right.
So when they're saying you can't hear it, it didn't make sense. So he put on the stethoscope, deep breath on the side, in the back, hold. And then he did, and he
Make sure that
tapped
was
on it.
working.
And I was like, oh, that doesn't look good, And so he did it again and he said, he's healed.
Wow.
And my mom said, yes. And my dad said, yes. And I said, no, right? and so then I said, well, when do I come back again? And he said, oh, you don't have to come back again. I said, well, what do you mean I don't have to come back again? He said, no, from now on, you can just go to your local doctor. They can give you a checkup, but you don't have to come back here again. And they were happy. And I was thinking, what do you mean? Like, this was my private time, my kick back in the back of the seat time. And then I
It was
said
an
to my
all-day affair
mom,
with your
yes.
parents.
And I said to
Mhm.
my mom and dad, can we one more time go downstairs and I get a stuffed green pepper? And my mom
Aw.
said, we'll eat when we get home, get in the car. And so what I'm telling you, and this is real, and I'm telling you this for you, and thank you for listening, but unless we're willing to let go of who we used to be, we can never have access to who we've been called to be. If we keep holding on to those mistakes and the things that we did in the past or the things that were wrong with us or that bothered us, then we never have access to the future. And I know personally, sometimes we want to hold on to those things. We want to hold on to that sob story about what he did or what she did or what they did. Why? Because it gets us attention. It gets us, oh, are you serious, Nate? What? And we
Right.
get to tell a new person, and we get to be treated this certain
that
way.
sympathy.
But at some
Mhm.
point, if you're going to step up and be who you were called to be, if you're going to go to the next level, sometimes it's not them holding us back. Sometimes we will refuse to let go of that old version of ourselves. The heart murmur Ruben couldn't take these long trips.
Right.
The heart murmur Ruben, I wasn't allowed to do sports and all kinds of stuff. I couldn't have a martial arts school for 25
Let alone
years. I
participate
was
in it.
just promoted to 9th degree black belt. The heart murmur Ruben couldn't do those things. What I'm saying is there was many more benefits available for me once I was willing to let go of that old me. And so I'm telling someone out there, I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. I was a kid, so I was forced. My mom made me go up for the prayer. I was like, God, if you leave it in there, I didn't even understand at that time what open heart surgery was. Now, having worked in surgery all these years, I don't want it.
Right.
I wouldn't
Right.
want it. But at the time, I might have been able to get 2 superheroes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let me get this and this.
And maybe more.
Maybe more. And so what I'm saying is sometimes we don't know what's available for us. And that's what keeps us holding on to the old version
You're
of
afraid
who
to
we
let
used
go.
to be.
So
Yeah.
afraid of what you might lose.
I hope you're enjoying Ruben West. Don't ever allow your circumstances to determine who you are or where you're going in life. And remember, there is a difference between what we do and who we are. Thank you for tuning in. I'm ready to take the challenge. Are you?
Stay tuned for part 2 with more Dr. Ruben West on the next episode.
Hello, this is Erin Page, your host for Dream Party KC 2022. What does DREAM stand for? It stands for Dare Radiantly Every Day and Moment. And if you are ready to ignite the spark within your dreams and in your life, this is the event for you. Go ahead and reserve your seat today at erinpage.com.
Thanks for watching. From my house to yours, stay tuned next time for incredible stories.